Oh, hello there, people. Today we'll be discussing one of the most controversial topics currently on the right. Who is a better candidate for 2024, Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis? Now, let's get this clear right off the bat. Do I support one of these people? Yes. As of now, I lean towards Trump being the better candidate. I think he's so far for sure the only candidates declared. Ron DeSantis basically has not confirmed yet, technically. And is it likely he runs? Yes. Is it a guarantee? Not really. So that alone makes Trump, I think, obviously the best option because, well, he's the only option. But also, I'm going to show you guys, when we fill in the rest of this map, you're starting to understand my thought process with who's a better candidate between Trump and DeSantis. Now, I know a few other people have done videos on it. I just want to give my take on the electoral map, and I've filled out a lot of these states already. I fill out the states that, electoral is speaking, they don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. These states really does not matter how they vote. They're going to vote one way or not. It's not really important discussing these states. A lot of these states are beautiful states, but electoral is speaking for the electoral map. They're not that significant like Wisconsin or Michigan are big ones, right? Not like, Alabama, which is like, we all know how that's going to vote, but Trump may do like a point better there. So you get the point. So it gives us more time to discuss the rest of these states. And there's going to be some hot takes on this video, I can already tell. And again, I don't hate DeSantis. All right, don't get this crap from the online right that think, oh, you support Trump, that means you hate DeSantis. No, I think he's a great governor, and if Trump isn't the option, if it turns out Trump doesn't stay on message in 2024 during the primary, I think DeSantis could be the best alternative. I'm just saying, all right? I know a lot of people are pissed off by that statement, but it's true. If Trump stays on message, he's the best candidate. If he doesn't, we can have a serious discussion. So let's get into it. Let's start West Coast to East Coast, starting in the great state of Nevada. All right. This is a controversial one. There are areas that DeSantis would do better than Trump in. The Reno area. Obviously, Trump would underperform DeSantis in that part of the state. All right, so I had to bring up the map real quick. Don't question that cut. The point is, a place like Washoe, Carson City, etc. Yeah, I could see, DeSantis doing 2 or 3 points better in this part of the state. But there's one part of the state that I think Trump would do better than DeSantis in. The rest of it. Look, I don't think Clark County, I think it's going to be roughly even. When you do the math, I think Trump would probably run even with DeSantis in Clark. Very similar demographics, it's like, yeah, these two candidates are going to run basically even in Vegas. But the rest of the state, which they don't got the most votes in, but when you start adding those suckers up, you start to realize, okay, yeah, there's a significant lot of votes for Republicans if they run it up in this part of the state. Now, I'm not saying DeSantis would do 20 points worse in this part of the state, but I think you would see a turnout drop off in a big chunk of the rurals, and I think you would still see a shift towards Democrats, not because DeSantis is, uneluctable or anything like that. It's just more so some of these voters, they would 100% turn out for Trump, questionable for other Republicans. We saw it in 2022. Laxalt would have won, barring the bullshit in Reno, if rural voters turned out. So, this is a hot take. I understand it. And I think these candidates would run basically even. But if I had to choose one, I think Trump has a better shot in Nevada. Plus, Clark, they're going to run even. But I think Trump may have a slight advantage in Clark. We just got to see. Again, Reno would probably favor DeSantis, but if Trump does a point better than DeSantis and Clark, and a couple points better than the rest of the state, it doesn't matter what happens in Reno. Trump would get more votes than DeSantis in that scenario. I'm not saying DeSantis wouldn't win the state. I just think Trump would have the best option, the best chance of winning Nevada. Arizona, I don't think I gotta say much, though. These people that think DeSantis could win by more than 5 points, it's like, yeah, no. At this current point in time, it's basically impossible for a Republican to win the state of Nevada more than 3 or 4 points. And that's pushing it at this point in time, at a federal level. I don't care about state treasurer elections. They basically never correlate. But I don't think I gotta say much. I think there is a chunk of voters in the Phoenix area that they just hate Trump. They hate MAGA. They hate all these people, which they would rather vote for a leftist and Katie Hobbs than, a Republican because it's too Trumpy. Yet they would probably vote for DeSantis, which on policy, outside of some economic issues, they're practically the same on. It's like some of these voters I really question what the hell they're talking about. All right, again, I'm not saying it's all voters. I'm saying there's just a chunk of voters that they bitch about Trump being too MAGA, but then they love Ron DeSantis vehemently. It's like, you do realize those two are basically the same in policy, right? So, Arizona, I do think Trump would underperform DeSantis in. Minnesota, oh boy. This one I've been thinking about for a while. This is a tough one. This is a really tough one for me to decipher who would do better in. Because, yes, you got the Minneapolis area, which DeSantis probably would run up a bit better than Trump. But we saw the rural parts of the state. They just don't vote for anybody but Trump for the Republican Party as of now. I think 10 years down the line, they are going to vote more Republican than they do. But as of now, a lot of these rural voters, they wouldn't vote if Trump's not on the ballot. Now, does that mean Trump would do better in Minnesota than DeSantis? I think DeSantis would have a slight edge over Trump in the state of Minnesota. Not by much, but I think he would lower the margins down to Hennepin County, Dakota, etc. And he wouldn't just collapse in the rurals. But I think Trump, his problem is, this isn't the Minnesota from 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago. If this was a Minnesota from 10, 20 years ago, Trump would have probably won the state already. You would have seen a lot of states that, if it was just 10 years ago or 20 years ago, Trump would have just crushed in a lot of these states. But these aren't the same states. I think DeSantis, this is one of the only Rust Belt states that DeSantis would do better than Trump in. It would be close, but I think DeSantis is a better option there. So let's go to Florida. We're going to avoid the Rust Belt for now. Florida. Oh, this is a tough one. Yes, DeSantis won by 20 points. Yes, I understand that. And would Trump win by 20 points at Florida? I doubt it. But does that mean DeSantis would win 20 points at a federal level? I doubt it, but I think DeSantis would do better in the state of Florida. It's just Trump would win it, obviously, but I think DeSantis, since he's been the governor there for a bit now, he's earned the voters' trust for being a damn good governor, and DeSantis would do better in the state of Florida. Georgia, I'm just going to skip over, ignoring it, but you could see on the screen what I chose. Georgia, you are just why? Why do you vote the way you do? And again, has to do with some demographic changes, but still. Anyways, North Carolina. Ooh. Of the Sunbelt states, this is probably the most Trumpy. This is probably the most Trumpy Sunbelt state. And I think Trump would do better in North Carolina. The problem for DeSantis, this is his major problem. Where is he going to get these votes from? A lot of these counties like Mecklenburg, etc., Guilford, etc., he's not going to do much better than Trump in these counties. These are pretty tough nails to crack. Is he going to do better in northeastern Carolina? Northeastern North Carolina. Funny. That's the, there's a lot of black voters over here. I doubt it. And there's a big chunk of white working class voters also, but you get the point. So I don't think that DeSantis would run that far behind Trump in North Carolina. I just think the current state of North Carolina, there's a lot of working class voters that still haven't fully converted. And Trump it would do like a half point better in North Carolina. Again, both candidates would win it. I just think Trump has the better choice or chance in the state of North Carolina. All right, let's go to New Hampshire. DeSantis, I'm not even pissing around with that. Maine second, I don't think I'd talk about either. Those are quite obvious. Now we get to the bread and butter, where the elections will actually be won. And this is where I'm sick and tired of some of these people with these delusional statements about my state of Wisconsin. Let me get this straight with these people. You're never getting Assad margins in Waukesha or Zaki again. Stop it. You're not going to get Walker margins anymore. Look, if these voters, almost 40% of Waukesha voters voted for Mandela Barnes, you think these voters are going to come back Republican for Ron DeSantis? Sure, he may get 1% of them. He's not going to be able to suck up this huge amount of the votes that these people think. Ozaki, it's only a matter of when that county flips. It's not going to be like a Democrat stronghold, but it's eventually going to be a Democrat-leaning county. It doesn't matter what you do. And here's the thing about Wisconsin. What percent of the vote comes from Dane, Waukesha, Washington, Ozaki, and Milwaukee? Guess what? It's about, I think last time I did the math, it was around 25-30%. That could be overstating it. 30% of the vote comes from the 5 counties these bozos want to focus on fully. Look, Bush won almost 70% of the vote of Waukesha, got like 65% of Ozaki, got cracked basically 40% in Milwaukee, did reasonable in Dane, and still lost state of Wisconsin by a point. This is why the rurals are more critical than Waukesha. They just are, mathematically speaking. The voters in rural Wisconsin are more valuable to the Republican Party than the voters in Waukesha. It's a fact. Mathematically speaking, that's a fact. And sure, DeSantis may do a quarter of a point better than Brown, but you think he's going to do better than Trump and Grant? Crawford, Richland, Vernon, Columbia? No. He may lose. He would probably lose Columbia. Get within a couple points of losing the Driftless area. Kenosha and Racine, we just got to see, but they're shifting Republican, which is a good thing. That's replacing a lot of this votes that are being lost in Waukesha. But still, you can't just win Wisconsin through Waukesha and Ozaki. You just can't. Stop it. And I'm making a whole video on the whole Cleefish would win nonsense. So you probably guess Trump is the best option for Wisconsin. Mathematically speaking, he's the best choice for the Republicans in the state of Wisconsin. Michigan. This one's tougher. Absolutely, there is Kent County. Absolutely, there's a place like Oakland County. DeSantis would do significantly better in those counties. But here's another problem. Macomb County. There's a lot of votes here. So let's say you lose 30,000 votes in Macomb. All right, let's say that you only win Macomb County by 10,000 votes. You have to make up essentially 200,000 votes without factoring Central Michigan or the UP. Let's say you have to make up 250 to 300,000 votes. All right, let's just say that. Where's DeSantis going to get these votes from? He may in total pick off 100,000 votes in Kent, Oakland, Washington, etc. But it's close in the places like, Grand Traverse County, sure. But is it going to be enough to overcome Trump as an overperformer? It's going to be tight, but I think Trump in the state of Michigan, mathematically speaking, you just do 100,000, let's just say, outside of Oakland, etc., Oakland and Kent counties, he does around 150,000 votes worse than Trump. All right, that puts him down by 300,000 versus Biden. This is just a hypothetical. Let's say he picks off 100,000 in these counties. That's not going to be enough. That's an underperformance of Trump. So I do think overall, DeSantis, and again, this doesn't mean they're going to vote Biden. Just There's going to be a lower turnout. Some of them may flip Democrat. Who knows? But Michigan, I think Trump has a better chance of winning. Pennsylvania. I don't think I want to say much here. With Pennsylvania, here's a problem. All right, for deciphering which one would do better. For, I should say, DeSantis. His problem is this. You're not going to do much better in the southeastern PA. You just aren't. If Dr. Oz struggled to do good here, you're not going to do much better. Allegheny may do a couple points better. But the T, these voters, once again, they just so far refuse to turn out for Republicans if it's not Trump on the ballot or a presidential year, which will be a presidential year. But Trump is so far been the only one that absolutely blow turnout out of the water with these voters. And in a state like Pennsylvania, you're not going to do much better in Chester, maybe a bit better in Bucks. You know, he may win Bucks, sure. But is that going to be enough votes? I don't think so. So I'm actually keeping this as one of those states where I think you could flip a coin who does better in. It's just so hard to decipher who has the best chance here, because the whole debate about Delaware, Bucks, etc. is valid. It's not like Michigan where these voters, good luck winning them. In PA, it's unlikely, but you have a chance. There are voters here that should be Republican, but they currently aren't. And DeSantis could be the one that picks them off. So this is the map. And sure, DeSantis does better in most other states, but states that matter. You know, I would say the most important states is Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. All right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Trump does better in 3 of them. DeSantis does better in 2 of them. One of them, you can make the argument about. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter account in the description down below, and join the channel today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.